Anyone else ready for the real football games to start?
You are Locked On Lions, your daily Detroit Lions podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
All right, here we go, everybody. It's another episode of Locked On Lions right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day, on a Tuesday, August 13th and a Wednesday, August 14th. Thanks for making us your first listen. Thanks for listening wherever you get your podcasts. Also watching and subscribing. You can watch for free each and every day in our Locked On Lions YouTube channel. Speaking of every day, shout out to our everydayers who are out there that watch or listen daily. Hit me up on Twitter at Derry Speaks or at Locked On Lions or on the Matt Derry Facebook fan page. We appreciate all of you. Thanks for checking us out. Locked On Lions today brought to you by our friends at LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL. That's linkedin.com/LockedOnNFL to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Coming up on the program today, I've hit my wall on preseason already. We are like less than a month away. It's 3.5 weeks. It's whatever amount of days. All right. September 8th. Today is August 13th. But I've officially coined today and the rest of this time for the next few weeks as the dog days of camp. I'm ready for it to start. I'm ready to see cut downs. I'm ready to see the roster. Like 2 more preseason games. I don't know if I could do it. We'll get into that coming up momentarily. An update on Jahmyr Gibbs. There's some things floating around the internet about an ACL. Hold on a second. Let's just pump the brakes on what you believe you read on Elon's website. Okay. Let's slow down. Wide receiver options. There are a couple of guys still available for the Lions to grab in free agency. There's one that fans have hit me up about that I'm telling you I have no interest in the Lions signing. We'll get into that coming up. And also, really sad, JJ McCarthy is going to be out a long time. A devastating injury for the Vikings rookie quarterback. All of that today right here on Locked On Lions. Again, our call of the day will return tomorrow. If you want to leave a voicemail on our SpeakPipe voicemail system, that is SpeakPipe, PIPE.com/Derry, DERY podcast page. Leave a voicemail. If it's really good, I'll play it as our call of the day tomorrow right here on Locked On Lions. But thanks everybody for checking us out. Lions practiced Monday night. Bunch of guys got hurt. Terrion Arnold had to leave the practice. Ennis Rakestraw Jr. got hurt. Jahmyr Gibbs got hurt. But a good practice, spirited practice on Monday night. Off day today on Tuesday. Back at it Wednesday, Thursday, then a travel day on Friday. And the Lions will face the Kansas City Chiefs. Richard Christie's Chiefs coming up Saturday afternoon at 4:00 on Fox 2. And of course, on the radio side with Dan Miller, Lomas Brown, TJ Lang on 97.1, the ticket. These are officially the dog days. I don't know about you guys, but I'm dead serious when I say this. This is the first time in years, like decades, and I moved here in August of 96, that like we know who's on the roster. We know who the best players are. There's not that many training camp battles. There's not even a training camp battle at kicker anymore. Dave Phipp, the Lions special teams coach, who, by the way, is just an awesome guy. He told members of the media yesterday, kind of on the side, he did like a makeshift press conference, much to the chagrin of the PR staff, I'm sure. By the way, shout out to Eamon Reynolds on the birth of his son, Owen. Eamon is the best when it comes to PR, head of Lions media relations, and he and his wife just welcomed a little bouncing baby boy into the world, Owen Reynolds. Shout out to Eamon. But anyway, I'm sure Eamon and the staff were real thrilled when Dave Phipp held court after practice last night. But he said this about Jake Bates. They asked him, why haven't you brought in another kicker to compete with Jake Bates? It's because Jake Bates is kicking ass. Huge field goal the other night in the rain in New Jersey. Banged through all 3 of his field goal attempts after practice on Monday. Hit a 60-plus yarder on Sunday. And they just wanted to get him an increased workload Hence, according to FIP, at least right now, why the team has not brought in another kicker. I still think this team is going to be signing another kicker once kickers get cut and the rosters get sliced down at the end of August. I can still see that being a possibility. But Jake Bates is doing a heck of a job. A little bit of a slow start at the start of camp. Wasn't great. But the last 3 days have been real positive. And again, that is not an easy place to kick. MetLife Stadium there in the swamps of New Jersey with all the wind and the rain. And he banged through that was a 53-yarder, I believe, the other night in the preseason. And I'd like to see Dan Campbell use Jake Bates more in the preseason. Yes, we know about Dan Gamble and the Gambling Dan and Daredevil Dan and MCDC and all that stuff. But let's see Jake Bates kick more in the preseason and give him more opportunities. But as of right now, he's the guy. But there aren't that many other battles in training camp. Yesterday, if you missed yesterday's show, we talked about it. The wide receiver 4 battle. I actually emailed Justin Rogers today from DetroitFootball.net and said, why is everybody calling this wide receiver 3 battle? Because the Lions have 3 receivers are going to make the team. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams. Don't worry, Lion fans. I won't rip Jamison Williams today. I know many of you on the YouTube are upset with me. The guy drops passes, I'm going to say it. And Khalif Raymond. Raymond, J-Mo, Amon-Ra. Those are the 3 guys. The battle is for wide receiver 4. But everybody calls it wide receiver 3 because really Raymond's more of a slot guy. St. Brown's more of a slot guy. I'm calling it wide receiver 4. All right. But that's like the most intriguing battle. And that's not even that big of a deal. You know, the starters are on the offensive line. You know, the kicker is, you know, the quarterback is, you know, the running backs are. Lions are chock full of tight ends. And I'm going to get to the newest Lions official depth chart in a minute. And then on defense, like, all right, Brian Branch is moving to safety. You know, the cornerbacks are going to be Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold and Rakestraw and, guys like that. I mean, the Lions are pretty set everywhere. So, man, I wish Emmanuel Mosley wasn't hurt. But regardless, that's why it's boring. All right, the most important and the most exciting part of camp last week was all the fights with the Giants, even though I didn't like the fights. But boring is good. Think about what's going on in Minnesota right now, how they're freaking out about JJ McCarthy's injury. Think about what's going on in Cleveland today, where their high draft pick, their second-round pick, Mike Hall Jr., apparently alleged domestic violence overnight in Avon, Ohio. Talk in New York with the Jets about Hassan Reddick. By the way, Lion fans, don't hit me up about Hassan Reddick. The Lions aren't signing him. They're not trading for him. But I love the fact that it's boring, but I also love the fact that I don't like the fact that I'm bored by this whole thing. I mean, it's dog days. It's such dog days that I'm about to read you the depth chart that's not even official. That's how bored I am. But I love every minute of it because that means the Lions are just ready, set, good roster, not a lot of battles because they have a really good team. And they have good players at positions that are going to be starters. We're not sitting here going, is it between this guy and that guy for right tackle? Can you imagine having to go through that? No, you want your right tackle, left tackle. Those are important positions. All right, starters on the depth chart that was released again today by the Lions. On offense right now, nothing really surprising. Like I said, with J-Mo and St. Brown and Khalif Raymond and all of that. What is interesting is Bam Knight, Zonovan Bam Knight, the running back, is listed on the second line with the second group in Jahmyr Gibbs, where Craig Reynolds, come on, Craig, is third string along with Jamar Jefferson. As far as the receivers go, the backups on the first line, Maurice Alexander, Doris Fountain, and Tom Kennedy. Donovan Peoples-Jones still on this depth chart as third string, along with Isaiah Williams. Defensively, Kyle Pecco still ahead of Broderick Martin. Carlton Davis and Terrion Arnold listed as the starting corners, with Vildor and Rakestraw as the backups. And then you got Amik Robertson as the nickel, Brian Branch and Kirby Joseph. Brandon Joseph also listed as a backup safety along with Iffy Melifonwu. Brandon Joseph has had a really, really good preseason, and he's not going to be a practice squatter, folks. He's going to make the team. He's going to make the team. All right. Can we calm down with Jahmyr Gibbs rumors? People on Twitter are out of control. There's been nothing confirmed. I want to get into this coming up next, right here on a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. And Matt Terry here to tell you about our folks at eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. They got superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit. Only available to U.S. customers. So Jahmyr Gibbs has not been 100% lately. And yesterday left practice, or last night left practice, with what the Lions were calling a lower body or leg injury. And now Adam Schefter reporting last night that it is a hamstring strain for Jahmyr Gibbs. You will not get a Dan Campbell update, I don't believe, until Saturday, because I think the coordinators are going to speak later on this week. And I don't think Campbell has to do a media session until after the game on Saturday. Certainly he'll do a pregame radio hit with Dan Miller on the radio side for Saturday's game, but we might have to wait and see on Jahmyr Gibbs. But people were posting, I'm getting texts from folks, good friends of mine. Oh my God, did you see this? People go on Twitter and social media and just throw anything out there to try to get clicks. And somebody posted a picture of Jahmyr Gibbs saying, rumors are, the sources say Jahmyr Gibbs has an ACL injury because an ACL is tied in with a hamstring. There has been no confirmation of this from anybody that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be lost for the year with a torn ACL. All right. Now, here's the one thing though, that I know a lot of fans are thinking, and I know I was thinking about too, is that Dan Campbell is putting the guys through a lot of padded practices lately. Should he scale back now because of the injuries, especially Gibbs, Terrion Arnold, Rakestraw, David Batta? There were some other guys that got hurt. Should they scale back now? And the answer is no. The season's 3 weeks away. They still have got to practice. They still have got to work. I'm not saying turn this into good old-fashioned two-a-days and Belichick practices and Bill Parcells practices and all of that. But this team still needs to hit. They still need to tackle. They still need to block. And just because guys could get hurt in shells, in shorts and shirts, they could get hurt, cutting, and you could have receivers running downfield, pulling up lane, straining a calf, injuring their knee, even if you weren't in pads. But the one thing I hate about social media sometimes is, the rumors and the crap that goes on because somebody saw something. Now, as far as other injuries go, today the Lions did make a move. I loved watching Dayron Gilbert, the linebacker, play the other night. He played really well in the Lions' loss to the Giants. Well, Gilbert is no longer on the team because the Lions have waived injured him today. So Gilbert, another injury. The Lions right now are either going to stash him on IR if he clears waivers or have an injury settlement. But local kid, linebacker, played well, gone. The team has added a cornerback with the injuries to Arnold and to Rakestraw to have another healthy body for Saturday night. And they've signed Isang Bassi X of the Broncos and Chargers. Bassey played a lot last year as kind of a nickel guy for LA, and he's not bad. You can never have enough corners, and Bassey was signed today by the Lions. So they're going to be cautious and very careful for Saturday against the Chiefs. I know Campbell made it a point yesterday of saying it's up to the players on whether or not they play, but you're not going to see a lot of the regulars. Not at all. And once we get to 18 games and just 2 preseason games, I think we'll be in a good groove. I think that's what fans want to see. Look, we're all going to tune in and watch on Saturday, but it's just preseason football is brutal. But as of right now, as I'm recording at 5:30 on Tuesday, Jahmyr Gibbs has a hamstring strain, and that's it. So I know people are sending me screenshots of tweets of guys that have 2,000 followers, but I have nothing to report, and there has been no reports of anything more major than that when it comes to Jahmyr Gibbs. You know what's funny, too, is I don't spend enough time on this show talking about Gibbs because he has the potential. You know, I was freaking out yesterday about wide receiver 4. I think Jahmyr Gibbs could be wide receiver 4. I also think he could be running back 1. That's how talented this kid is. That's how good Jahmyr Gibbs is. He's so talented. He's so good. And, you know, we talk about Laporta. We talk about Amon-Ra. We talk about Jared Goff. And, you know, Jamison Williams is a hot commodity when it comes to discussion points. David Montgomery's a bell cow at times, and a guy that last year in games that the Lions were winning, you wanted to hand the football to Montgomery because you trusted Monty to put the game on ice. And he was a really good player with the Bears and, you know, has so much talent. But Jahmyr Gibbs could be special player. And I think Ben Johnson is not going to show us anything yet on this. I don't even think they're seeing it. Then they're going to scrimmage. The Lions are going to scrimmage tomorrow in practice. I don't think you're going to see it in scrimmages. I don't think you're going to see it in joint practices. You're certainly not going to see it in the preseason. I think week 1 against the Rams, we're going to see Jahmyr Gibbs' usage way up and putting him in different spots and positions, especially out wide, that we've never seen before. And I'm excited about that. I think that is going to be just awesome. All right, I mentioned before, maybe Jahmyr Gibbs is your wide receiver 4 when it all comes down to it in terms of how he's used. But yes, there are free agent wide receivers that are still available in the open market. The one that surprises me the most is Hunter Renfrow, ex of the Raiders. I know he's more of an Amon-Ra, Khalif Raymond type, more of a slot guy. Loved him at Clemson. Surprised he has not been signed yet or doesn't have a job. Michael Thomas is also available, ex of the New Orleans Saints, the veteran who has been a Pro Bowler and has had a really good career. But Michael Thomas is not known to be the best teammate. Michael Thomas is constantly upset with his contract, and the ball's thrown his way. And I know that's what receivers do. They bitch and complain. But I'm not bringing that guy into this locker room. Michael Thomas is not a fit. Corey Davis is available. 45-year-old Julio Jones is available. And hey, who wants to make that phone call to Randall Cobb? Woo! I think Randall Cobb officially retired, but look, if the Lions have some injuries, knock on wood, they're going to have to find receivers somewhere. But I'm not signing any of those guys. I want to see Isaiah Williams again Saturday. I want to see how he does. Because right now, he's been really good. And I know you're saying, well, he's an undrafted rookie free agent. So Antoine Green was a 7th round pick. That's 1 round ahead of UDFA. And I think Donovan Peoples-Jones will get a longer look and start and get more of an opportunity Saturday. DPJ is still only 25-26. He just hasn't been, he's been underwhelming the last couple of years and didn't play as much last year after the trade deadline when the Lions got him from Cleveland like I thought he would. So, it's still wide open. And again, the Lions could end up signing somebody once the cuts are done in a couple of weeks. That's still a possibility. Teams that are chock full of receivers, and maybe have a hard time with 5 or 6 or who they're going to get rid of, that could be where the Lions scouting department is pouncing and scouting right now and looking at adding somebody. We'll have to wait and see. All right, coming up next, pretty big injury in the NFC North involving a guy locally that many of you were rooting for just last year. We'll explain coming up next right here on a Tuesday, Locked on Lions. Hey, you looking to hire somebody? Not sure where you're going to post your job and do it for free? How about LinkedIn Jobs? When you're hiring for your small business, you want to find quality professionals that are right for the role. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs has the tools to help find the right professionals for your team faster and for free. I love being on LinkedIn. I'm there every single day, and you put your job posts out there. People see it. They really do. And you can interview with folks off of LinkedIn Jobs because it's easy to find them. It's easy. It's great. LinkedIn isn't just a job board. LinkedIn helps you hire professionals you can't find anywhere else, even those who aren't actively searching for a new job, but might be open to the perfect role. In a given month, over 70% of LinkedIn users don't visit other leading job sites. So if you're not looking on LinkedIn, you're looking in the wrong place. On LinkedIn, 86% of small businesses get a qualified candidate within 24 hours. Hire professionals like a professional on LinkedIn. Here's what I'm going to tell you to do. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnfl. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnfl to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Got to give a shout out to one of our everydayers and a Locked On Lions listener. He is just 10 years old, but this kid knows the Lions like the back of his hand. The great Henry Steed. I've mentioned Henry before on the pod. I love his parents to death. Henry loves Locked On Lions. Thanks for being a big Lions fan. Henry tomorrow is getting a big tour of the big house. So we got to give a shout out to we've got listeners of all ages and viewers of all ages right here on Locked On Lions. So thanks for making us your first listen, checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. All right, some big news that came down today. The Vikings, JJ McCarthy has been hurt the last couple of days, and they were getting a couple of opinions on everything. But JJ McCarthy is going to undergo knee surgery for after undergoing an MRI last night, and he's got a torn meniscus. Not good. JJ McCarthy was starting to come on. The former Michigan quarterback, who I didn't think was going to be a great pro, but I thought was very, very good as a college player. And the Vikings, number one draft pick. I think they moved up to take him at 11 or 12. Meniscus tear, likely I would think would sideline him for the season if he's going to undergo surgery. But that just sucks. And I know he's in the division. He was starting to heat up a little bit, looked good, threw a couple of really good balls in that preseason game last week, and was pushing Sam Darnold and Nick Mullins for playing time. He was getting better each and every day. He was really improving. OTAs and minicamp was not great. He was still listed third on the depth chart behind Darnold and Mullins, but he was starting to come on. And he's, seems like a really good kid, and obviously Michigan fans love him. But torn meniscus just sucks. That absolutely sucks. And, I thought even if he hadn't started right away in week 1, that I thought we'd see JJ McCarthy with the way he was trending, maybe by week 4, week 5, week 6, and maybe the Vikings would be a team that would be a sneaky playoff contender because that defense under Brian Flores last year overachieved. You still got Justin Jefferson. You got a lot of talent there. In Minnesota, especially with Jordan Addison and TJ Hawkinson and all of that. But man, to lose JJ McCarthy like that, maybe for the season, depending on how the surgery goes, just sucks. You want to see the best players, playing. That's what the NFL is all about. No offense to Sam Darnold or Nick Mullins, but we want to see JJ. And so him being out is just a devastating injury, certainly for the Vikings. But again, Darnold's not horrible. There are a lot worse options. And I thought he was going to start week 1 anyway. But yeah, McCarthy opting after an MRI Monday night, opting for surgery. Big blow for that Vikings team and that offense for sure. Meantime, in Chicago, a lot of discussion about Montez Sweat and how serious his injury is right now. The Bears are saying nothing at the moment. Let me find this because I was just had this and I lost it. Montez Sweat. Oh, where is it? I just was reading about this today. Hold on, I have it here. I just want to get the exact verbiage on our guy Montez, not our guy, but on the Montez Sweat injury. Oh, come on, man. Sometimes this happens. Or I had I just was looking at this today and now I lost it. Oh my gosh. Hold on. I had this. I'm going to find it. All right. They're saying it's an undisclosed injury in Chicago, but Montez Sweat has missed the last 7 practices. And that is a guy that is huge for the Bears, a monster. I know there's been a lot of talk about Matthew Judon maybe to Chicago. I know, teams are inquiring about him, but Montez Sweat is a difference maker for that team. But they won't say what the injury is, undisclosed, but he's been out like a week and returned to practice a little bit today, working on the side. But man, that's another one to keep an eye on if you are a Bears fan or if you're a Lions fan rooting against the Bears, which we all are. All right, that'll do it for a Tuesday edition of Locked On Lions. Thanks for making us your first listen. Checking us out wherever you get your podcasts. We are back again tomorrow talking about the scrimmage.